What happens if you buy a stolen car? Unknowingly, like you go and everything seems legitimate. You buy it at a fair price. You take possession of it. You drive it for a year. Everything seems fine. You register it.
So most of the laws related to vehicle transactions are designed to protect the consumer, the buyer. So like if the dealer never provides you a title, you can get a title. In those cases, it favors the person who had the car stolen from them. And so if you buy a car that was stolen and they come and find it, you may not have any criminal liability if you can prove that you didn't know that. But if you bought it for, 20% of what it should have been worth, you have a harder case there. But no, you're going to have to give that car back and you will not see your money ever again.
So if you pay, let's just say $50,000 for a car, you have to then go to the person you bought the car from to try to get your money back.
Correct. Yeah. So, and that person inevitably will have known they were selling you a stolen car and you're not going to see anything.
Wow. It's crazy to me how common this is and how just people don't prosecute this or find out about it. I didn't know it was this prevalent.
There's a Facebook group that I follow that's like selling cars with no titles. And sometimes it's just people selling cars from out of they've got a loan and they can't pay off and they just want to, and you're going to get the car seized by a repo agent before too terribly long. But since it's so easy to steal like Hellcats and Chrysler products, they're always on. I mean, like you can buy a Hellcat for $5,000 and they're like, don't ask any questions. And I know they're all stolen, but I've thought a lot, like, what if I just go buy one? Like, I'll probably get killed in the process, but like I go drive it around for a little while. I'll find out who owns it and we'll make a video giving them their car back. Like I'd pay for the $5,000.
Why are Hellcats stolen that frequently?
Because the keys are really easy to clone. It just takes the simple little phone app. And
there's that Tommy G video that was so amazing where he goes to a guy who steals cars from lots. And this guy comes in and within like 30 seconds to a minute can unlock any car. And he's using this thing that he bought online that's like, not quite legal to sell, but they sell them online. Programs this thing. It's insane. He could start any car just remotely. Any car, like especially Audis, I think was one of the cars he just...
Yeah, and you're getting issues where a lot of them, they won't be, like you can't insure them anymore because they're so easy to steal. There were some Hyundais like that. They're having issues, especially in Europe with certain Ferraris because the keys are so easy to clone. And yeah, they just gone in 60 seconds.
I absolutely love being able to unlock Teslas from your phone. I think that is the coolest thing. And I also like the old cars that have the keypad where you can type in the passcode that then unlocks the car. I think both those things should be used more. If we can have Apple Pay on our phone and it's as encrypted as it is and you can't just go up to someone's phone and steal their money by tapping your phone with theirs, I feel like we should be able to unlock cars with that.
Tesla's just as easy to do that too, though.
Is it actually?
Yeah, I had a buddy who was able to show me this. He walked up and was like, "Is your car locked?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Watch this." I kid you not. He just goes on his, he had like this little device within like 2 minutes. My car is unlocked.
Buddy? So he could break into every single Tesla.
He's like this tech computer guy who's really big into like.
Have you heard of this?
Oh, I mean, yes, stealing cars is considerably easier. It's really just what you do with them afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've been offered a lot of stolen cars that I knew were stolen, and you can't do anything with them. So even if, apart from the morality or legality, they're just useless because you can't take them anywhere. Somebody tried to sell me while I had the rental car company a perfect 360 Spider, and they were like, "You just have to go get it." And I'm like, and it doesn't have a title. And I'm like, well, where is it? It was on a farm in South Georgia, and they had wrapped it in aluminum foil because they didn't want the tracker. They didn't know where it was or if it had one. And so they didn't want it to ping anywhere. And so a lot of times when people steal cars, they'll just pull them like around the corner and then watch them to see if somebody comes to get it. But they really didn't want anybody to find it. And so they had it, for years it had been there. And I was like, well, there's nothing I can do with it. I have a 360 Spider. I mean, it's got 100,000 miles on it, but like, I guess I could start swapping parts off and stuff, but I didn't have the money for a parts car. And so there's just, even if you can steal stuff, you can't really make that much for it. So, I mean, people are selling a $50,000 Hellcat for $5,000 because somebody's just going to go joyride it and do one of these takeover burnout sessions in the middle of an intersection and then, crash it into whatever.
That's crazy. Okay, while you mentioned the takeovers, is that because I don't know if you guys got hit with this like algorithm.
Yeah, I love those videos.
I hate them.
Really,
I hate those videos. Yeah, because people are getting hurt, man.
Like they're idiots. They're standing in the middle of the thing as they're doing burnouts, like filming it, jumping up and down, and they get hit.
I know, but I also like
Idiots.
I'm mostly talking about like I saw videos of like this old dude who was like going out there and like walking out there like, guys, stop, because it was like in front of his business and he like gets jumped or he gets hit by a car. The people that like
we're getting different algorithms. Jack.
The people that go though and they like walk by the cars and try to jump over it and get their feet knocked out from under them. Like that's, I mean, I don't know how you can ask for something more than something like that, but apparently those have been happening for a very long time. They've just been like mainly more so mainstream recently.
Well, I mean, there's always been street racing and things like that, and that's not really what these are. These are slideshows and just stunts and things like people like shutting down roads.
Yeah.
And it is really a cancer in the automotive scene because even though these people claim to be enthusiasts, there are so many bad outcomes in terms of crashes, in terms of injuries, in terms of, businesses that are massively disrupted or they crash into their buildings and things like that. And so the crackdowns on these from a police perspective have gotten really, really insane. And one issue with it is that they're very hard to define. And so a lot of the laws that have been put into place could easily creep into almost any group drive or car show. And the penalties are designed to be motivating. And so they'll seize your car. They will, give you massive criminal penalties for doing this. And I think that's fair if you're running the risk of running over children. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if I'm just going out with a group of cars and driving, to a destination or something like that, again, by the definition of what they're talking about, it could be construed as this. And then I could be facing some really, really harsh penalties where there was no real exposure in terms of that kind of bad outcome.
Yeah. Isn't reckless driving criminal? It's a criminal charge?
Yeah, in most states.
Have you ever gotten a reckless driving or any sort of like what's the gnarliest thing that you've gotten in trouble for?
Well, I've been accused of reckless driving.
Never convicted.
On paper from law enforcement, but I have not been convicted of it, yes. And so usually there is a speed threshold in most states where you could be faced with a charge of reckless driving. But in most states, there has to be like a secondary condition
like under the influence or
like making an illegal maneuver, running a red light, stuff like that truly deems it as reckless. Now there have been times where you're on like a car rally or something like that and people are going faster than normal in a group and you get pulled over together and sometimes the cops get really worked up and stuff like that. But the cool thing is now most cops are real car guys and so they watch VINWiki, and so when I get pulled over now it's probably a 50-50 chance that they know who I am, and we do a lot of fundraising with different police organizations and stuff like that. And so, we've made a lot of videos about what to do when you get pulled over to minimize your risk of getting a ticket or getting a worse ticket and stuff like that. And it can be, there's a strategy.
All right, so what are the top, the top tips? Because Graham's pretty good at this. Graham's been pulled over me in the car before, and he's like, "Look, I'm so sorry. Is there any way you just let me go and I could just drive away?"
I'm not gonna of what you're supposed to.
He just asks.
I just full on admit, and I tell my story like, "Hey, listen, I was showing Jack a house on Zillow, and I was honest. Like, I showed Jack this cool house on Zillow." Honestly, I wasn't looking down. I was showing him this really cool house that I just came up on the market. It's not going to happen again. It's not a regular occurrence. I got a clean record. Can I just get a warning? The cop just came back and was like, "Here's your warning. Lucky day. I appreciate the honesty. Go on your day."
So my approach is a bit different, but it is also not just shut up and let them do whatever they're going to do, because a lot of people will tell you that. A lot of lawyers will tell you that, and that's not wrong. You can always deal with it after the fact, but de-escalating the situation initially is always the thing. And so, being a cop is a dangerous job. They're far less equipped than we would hope in most cases, and that's one of the things that we've learned in going out and visiting a lot of these police agencies and some of these fundraising things that we've done. But at the end of the day, you just want to make their life as easy as possible. So you want to make sure that when you pull over, you get somewhere that's truly safe, give them a huge buffer from having to stand in the road, because it is a legitimate fear that they have of being hit while they're standing next to your car. Do not do anything else. Do not move. Put your hands on the top of the steering wheel and wait, and put the window down and wait for them to come. And when they do, they're going to ask you for your license and your insurance, and then you're going to say, "My license is in my back pocket. My insurance and registration are in the glove box. Would you like me to reach for one of them first?" And they'll tell you. And if you tell them that what you're going to do, they know that you've probably spoken to somebody in law enforcement. And then it just relaxes them, and it opens up the chance they may even ask you that. You know, any friends that are cops and stuff like that. And the more that you get them talking, the better chance you have of something better happening. And so if I get pulled over, I don't care if it's in the middle of Baltimore, I'm going to tell how beautiful this area is, how much I love it. This place is awesome. I'm obviously not from around here, but this is great. If you're in somewhere where it's actually pretty, you're like, man, you get to work here. I mean, this is like God's country. Like you're the luckiest man alive to be able to just drive around here every day. And they're not expecting that. It kind of puts them on their heels. Like, yeah, it's been good. Like, how long you been on the force? How many of you guys have sworn here? And because if you say that, how many do you have sworn? That's how many sworn officers are employed by their jurisdiction. And they love saying that there's not that many. It's a bit competitive and stuff like that. And so if you ask them questions about themselves, they're not thinking about how mad they are at whatever they think they just saw you do. And so, I mean, I had plausible deniability here, but I might have been trying to hide from a cop at one point in a trailer park, and he might have found me. And at that point, I'm out of the car, checking the oil, pretending like I meant to take 3 turns off the highway. And and he's, comes in pretty hot. And I'm just like, man, it is so pretty out here. These roads are amazing. And he ends up really kind of forgetting about the initial circumstance of why he was interested in finding out where I was. And we had a good outcome there. And so it was, that's really it. Is just talk to them like real people, ask them questions about themselves, care about what they're saying, and learn. And in most cases, you can have a real discussion about what you may or may not have done and get a better outcome.